Hi, welcome to the Restaurant Show. I'm Justin Riley, your host, and I hope you stick with us today because we've got a fantastic show with some great local businesses. We're going to be joined by Gooseberry on the Square. They've got a couple of delicious dishes that they're going to share with us. Plus, New Glarus Bakery is going to pop in and talk to us a little bit about their Stollen. We're going to learn the process of how this authentic ethnic bread is made. And Emily is going to check in with our good friend Rob from Dashalito's Hot Sauce. It's all coming up right here on the Restaurant Show, where we stop by the best restaurants in town so you can skip the rest and enjoy the best. We'll tell you where to go right here on the Restaurant Show.
Hello and welcome back to the Restaurant Show. We're so excited to be here today with Mr. Robert Grether from Dashalito's Hot Sauces and Spicy Foods. Welcome back, Rob. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming back. And thanks are in the air as it is almost Thanksgiving. It's kind of on the brain and probably on the table and on the stove. So I see here you're putting together something with cranberries. So tell us all about it, sir.
That's correct. I am going to be giving people a recipe for a spicy cranberry relish, or you could possibly call it a chutney.
Chutney. What actually makes it a chutney?
I assume it's just a conglomeration of stuff, but an amalgamation of stuff.
Amalgamation? What is the difference between a chutney and a salsa? Just kidding. This isn't a quiz show.
Yeah.
Anyways, tell us about the cranberry chutney that you're going to make today.
I'm going to have to Google some of those answers for you.
Please do. That's what Google is for. But is this something that eventually is going to be able to be put on the side with your Thanksgiving dinner, on top of your turkey?
Yeah, I think it can be used in place of your traditional cranberry relish or cranberry sauce. I did bring some cranberry sauce today in a can just to give people an example of how you can do something in a more commercial setting. If you're someone like my family, sometimes uses just the can, just opens it up and gives it you get used to the ridges and everything.
People like that, it's tradition.
So
Non-traditionally though, if people out there need to know a little more about Dashalito's, he has been with us with the TV station here for quite a while. We're very proud. He makes a line of different hot sauces that you'll see in front of us, as well as mixes them to make different styles on traditional type foods, sides, main dishes, sauces, adds a little spice to a regular dish. So here we go with a cranberry chutney.
And I want you to keep talking because I'm just going to cut some things.
Well, tell us what we're doing here. Not everybody recognizes this in its natural form. I know what this is because I've worked with this before. So this is
ginger.
This is a ginger in the root form,
Ginger
right?
root, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm going to be making something with the cranberries that are fresh. So I don't know, for people who don't know it, fresh cranberries, they're just actual berries. So what I've done is I've bought a 12-ounce bag of cranberries before we got started because it was going to take a little while for them to boil. I put a little bit of water in here and then just basically dump some cranberries in. I already drained the water, but you can see that we've still got some steaming hot cranberries.
So it kind of starts to make them into a little bit of a, the berries themselves smush into a little bit more of a soupy thing. Do you have to do something with the peels, or does that become part of the
Nope, it just goes right into it.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to just dump the softened cranberries into a bowl, and that's how we're going to get started.
And cranberries are fun to work with because Wisconsin is a big cranberry producer. So those of you maybe out there know that, maybe not, but there is much cranberry production in the state of Wisconsin. So it's a fun thing to work with. So a lot of the times you will find cranberries, I think produced and then put in the grocery stores by local companies.
Yeah, from what I understand.
Tell us what's happening here.
Basically just taking a little lemon juice. We're going to just do a little zesting.
So zesting is a thing, I think, that makes you sound like a chef, but what exactly does it mean, Rob? Tell us what about zesting versus like a juice.
I guess I'm taking this grater and I'm just grating some of the, the lemon peel. So you get some of the lemon juice that's going to kind of, go through the cranberries. I really brought this for the ginger because that's where the ginger is going to be really, effective to get it in. Otherwise you end up grating it or you end up slicing it into small pieces. But when you have a grater, you're able to use it and you're able to let it fall right in there, and then it mixes in nicely with whatever you're cooking or whatever you're using it for.
So what I'm seeing here is a cranberry sauce with some zested lemon and some raw ginger root.
That's correct.
And then what now is going to make it so it's Dashalitos
Well,
style
and that's where we end up with the spices. We are going to use the sweet heat today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case people haven't caught on, what is the sweet heat? Describe that specific sauce.
So sweet heat is the candied jalapeno sauce that we have. So it's just what it says. It's sweet and then spicy, sweet like candy, and then spicy like with jalapenos. We've got a number of different sauces that I think would be okay here, but the reason I chose this one is really because cranberries are so kind of tart that I felt like this really did a good job of bringing some sweetness to it, changing the profile, and then also bringing some heat, a little bit of spice to it, and that's where you get to have, some fun with your more traditional cranberry,
It's a really beautiful color. It's turning into a really rich red, which I think for those people out there that are looking to have maybe a little bit of a specialized side in their cranberry for this Thanksgiving, you have something that looks really beautiful. It'll look really nice in a, glass dish out on your table like that, and also it will have some special flavors and some spices, and it's got the Dashalitos additive that makes it a local food for everyone to share in Wisconsin.
I'm not sure we're going to have bread at most meals, or you're going to want to put it on your bread, but I think good way to maybe give it a taste.
Well, this could absolutely be served as a little appetizer. I mean, that's very pretty to
correct.
have that right on time.
And again, this is really a simple thing.
That's very good. So the cranberries, like you said, are very tart and sour as a fruit themselves.
Add a little bit more of that.
The sweet heat, yep, I would say you could probably do a little. I mean, if people haven't seen Rob before, he typically adds spice to taste. So you add a little, taste it, add a little, taste it, and depending on who you're serving or who's going to be eating the food itself, the spice comes on a little bit later, just so you know. You can continue to add a little bit of spice to make it spicier, and if you obviously need to take the spice back, you just add a little bit of the original component.
You can add a little bit of sugar if you wanted. Good. You could add, I had thought about even adding like some orange juice or like some blood orange.
That would be nice.
That would be kind of cool. Yep. To give it a little bit of additional sweetness, the sweet heat is great. It's got a nice kind of obviously sweet flavor, but for people who don't want as much spice, you could go with something, you can add raisins, you can add brown sugar, there's a lot of different things, and as Emily mentioned, a lot of what I do is just kind of on the fly.
On the fly. Well, I mean, true artists, chefs and cooks that create everything kind of off the cuff and on the fly, and then create it into a recipe that other people can share. So anyways, this is our Sweet Heat Dashalitos flavored cranberry sauce for your Thanksgiving meal this holiday season. Thank you so much, Rob and Dashalitos, for joining us for the restaurant show. Stay tuned and catch some more after the break.
Up next on the restaurant show, Stolen with New Glarus Bakery. Welcome back to the restaurant show. Believe it or not, it's already time to start planning for the holidays. And here to talk a little bit more about that is Angela Neff from New Glarus Bakery. Angela, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am great. And today, as I understand, we are rolling in Stolen.
We are rolling in Stolen.
So talk to us a little bit about your holiday Stolen, because that's coming up real soon. You're going to have that ready pretty soon. And talk a little bit about how it's made and what it is.
Okay. It's a traditional German loaf, technically served at Christmas.
Okay.
It's made by hand throughout the centuries.
Okay.
There's been varieties starting all the way back where they used oats.
Okay.
To begin with, and through the years it has kind of morphed into its own kind of loaf. Some people make it with candied fruit, and instead of like the powdered sugar on top, they use like a glaze.
Okay.
Or what we use is our concoction of rum-soaked raisins. Concoction, yes. And we have all of our almonds come directly from the growers in California.
Wow, all right.
And all of our spices are from Dresden, Germany.
Wow.
So,
no kidding.
yeah.
This is about as authentic as you can get here in the States.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we also use the marzipan lugs, and marzipan is in the dough as well as the log, and not everybody uses marzipan in theirs either. So it's different, and the spices vary too between recipe.
There's no real one way to make it. There's different ways that I'm sure that around Germany you can find in different parts, depending on where you go, it's made differently.
Exactly.
So it looks like you've got a couple of different stages here. What's the first stage?
The first stage, the only automation that we have in this entire process is our dough divider cutter. So we have our 1 pound 8 ounce loaf that we have here.
Okay.
And what we do is we initially roll it up. And we need to make a nice firm dough ball that we're going to have here.
Okay.
Okay. And so when it's ready to go, we're just going to let it get a bit of a what we call a skin on top, nice smooth skin.
I can kind of see that happening already.
Yep. So we're going to let it sit, and we get it to a nice firm stage here.
Okay.
Okay, I tap it on the top so it's not so spongy.
Right.
We want it pretty tough. And then when we're done with it, we're going to roll it into a bit of a log.
Okay.
Okay. So then what we do is we put it off to the side, let it rest for a little bit, and I have a piece here that's already rested.
Already rested.
Already
time
rested.
To wake up now.
Yep, time to wake up. So what we do is we pat it down.
Okay.
And we take our Stollen stick.
So this is specially for Stollen.
Yes.
Stollen stick.
Yes,
All
because the width of it is special to how we make the little insert in for the log of marzipan.
Oh.
So
okay.
what we do is we put a little valley in there.
Okay.
And we take our log of marzipan.
And that's the marzipan.
Yep, this is the marzipan. These are all hand rolled too. We make it in a pretty large batch, and then all the storefront staff members pitch in and they roll these. They're all 2 ounces, and every single one is weighed.
Wow.
Yep. So what we do is we fold her over. So we're gonna kind of say goodnight to the marzipan log.
Good night, marzipan log.
Good night. So, and then what we do is we do a seal. And we go right into it.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yep. And then
Almost
when we're
like
done,
a taco at first.
so here you are. You have the log that is tucked in here. It's sealed well enough, and we're going to put this right on the pan and bake it, or we proof it first in a proof box. We do 62 loaves in a batch. A double batch day is 124 loaves, and we schedule out how many baking days there are, because we have to plan all this around how long we let our rum-soaked raisins soak.
Okay, so you're actually soaking the raisins in the rum concoction yourself. And you have a couple of examples of that. May I try one?
Sure.
All right.
Yes. We try to get at least a couple weeks in its bath. We use rum from the Minhas Distillery in Monroe, Wisconsin. Dark Myers rum, and then we use Green Mountain Flavors out of Elgin, Illinois. And all concocted together, and they sit in their buckets, and we stir them up every now and then, or add fresh to it. And yeah, there we go.
Does this go in the oven just like that then, after it's proofed?
Yep, after it's proofed, it raises about 1.5 times its size, and we put it in the oven until it's nice and golden brown. And then what we do is there's unsalted butter, and we dip it, and we let it drain a little bit, and then we put it in a bowl with a powdered sugar cornstarch mixture.
Okay.
And we cover it up. And then once we're done with that, then we have a different variety of packaging throughout the year. Depends on how we want to package it for the storefront versus mail order.
Sure, okay, all right, and this is the finished product
That is the finished product, correct.
Yeah. And you also have, I want to show an example of what you have here for packaging.
Correct.
People know this is the holiday Stollen. Is this what people, if you send it in the mail, is this
Correct.
what people are going to get?
Yep, they get it in a nice box. The Stollen is packaged in a plastic bag that is heat sealed to seal in the freshness. When you get your Stollen as a gift, or if you just want it for yourself to eat, make sure when you do get it, put it in the freezer right away, and then as you want it or need it, pull it out, cut off a few pieces, put it in an airtight container, and keep it fresh that way.
Okay, so it is freezable and it maintains its freshness
Correct,
that way.
yes. You want to keep it as moist as you possibly can.
And may I try it?
You may.
All right. So you can actually see right here where the marzipan is. That must be the marzipan that we cooked into it.
That is like the prize in the Stollen.
So do I want to eat that first or last?
I know.
Decisions. I think just for time's sake, I'm going to eat that side first. So take a bite of the Stollen.
So we don't sell this right away when we make it. We let it freeze and ferment, sort of per se. Wow. You know, mingle those spices and flavors and marzipan inside there.
Yeah.
before we put it on the shelf for sale. It is available on November 1st of every year,
Okay.
but we try to start making some about the beginning of October, as soon as the weather starts to calm down, because we don't want to make this when it's super hot out.
Right. So you have to try to, you want to try to get it to ferment in the freezer then, is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, wow,
Yep.
that's cool. Real quick, we just have a few seconds left, but talk to us a little bit about your hours after the holidays and any specials that you might have coming up after the holidays.
We close at the end of the year for first 2.5 weeks of January, so
Okay.
we'll reopen the following Wednesday, like the second week of January every year, and then we'll be open 6 days a week, closed on Mondays, all the way through up to Memorial Day this year.
Okay.
And then as far as our specials go, in January, it's our custard-filled Long Johns, so you can stay warm with our custard-filled Long Johns.
Stay warm with Long Johns. That's great. I love it. Angela Neff, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Head on down to New Glarus or go to their website and order your Stollen today. We'll be right back with more Restaurant Show right after the break. Coming up next on the Restaurant Show, crab cakes and a delicious dessert from Gooseberry on the Square. Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. I am so excited about our next guest. We are joined now by Gooseberry on the Square. They're over on South Pinckney Street, and I'm standing next to David Ceramic. Thank you for being here with us today, David.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. You're one of the co-owner and co-chef, I guess, one of the
Yes.
chefs there. What are we going to be making first today, David?
Today we're just going to do a crab cake for you with a caper remoulade sauce underneath.
Okay, so what's the first step? It looks like we already have it cooking over here.
Yeah, but I
so to
started
speak.
one just so you didn't end up with a cold crab cake. But
Okay.
we start with two different, a lump crab meat,
All right.
and then some of the back fin just to give two different textures.
Okay, I got it. So this is the finished product, and
Yeah.
you're going to kind of walk us through the process here.
Right, yep.
Got it.
We
Okay.
we take it and drain it just so we don't have any excess liquid.
All right.
Panko breadcrumbs, just a breadcrumb that we use a lot in the
Mm-hmm.
restaurant. Small amount of mayo, just enough to, you know,
Sure.
hold everything together, not
Right.
make it too greasy or slimy.
Right.
And then all I did with these is some yellow and orange bell peppers.
Okay.
Sauteed up with a little red onion in
all right.
clarified butter, just to add a little extra flavor into them.
Clarified butter.
It's just you take, you melt butter down and remove the butter solids. So
Oh, okay.
So the butter won't burn when you heat it up.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
And then we just do a spice mixture of it: smoked paprika, chili powder,
Sure.
salt, pepper, garlic powder. Pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
Wow. I love me some crab cake, so I'm looking forward to trying that one that's
Yeah.
cooking over there. And then it looks like you've got some sauce here. What sort of sauce are you? I'm kind of jumping ahead here,
Yeah.
but what sort of sauce are you serving this with?
It's a caper remoulade. It's just it's a sauce I grind up capers with lemon juice
Mm-hmm.
and parsley, then added to mayo and more seasoning, just
Okay.
to kind of give a little acidity and brightness to the crab cake. So once you kind of can make them into a patty, is really what you're looking at. It's obviously a huge patty, but
Hey, that's all right. Throw it on there.
so
All
once
right.
you can kind of make it into a patty, then I just
Sure.
sear it in a pan to kind of get some color on both sides.
Sure. How long does that typically take to cook it?
Not very, I mean, probably a few minutes on each side, depending on how hot you get.
Got it. Got it. And this is something that's on your catering menu, but can you also get it by just stopping into the restaurant?
It's mostly done on our catering menu, but sometimes I do a crab cake sandwich in the
okay.
restaurant as a lunch special.
Okay.
But it's more done on the catering menu.
Okay. Well, I am excited to try this. So
Yeah.
let's get this plated up for me, so I can eat.
So we just put a bunch of the sauce kind of on the bottom of the plate just
Sure.
to give it a base.
All right. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to ask you real quick. You've got Thanksgiving is coming up, and you've got some Thanksgiving Day specials. You want to talk to us a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, we put together a package in case you don't want to do all that cooking at home. So it comes with a turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce, and 2 pies.
Okay.
That's
2 pies.
that people then can pick up at the restaurant. We have reheat instructions, so then you can just heat it up in your kitchen, and it kind of takes all the mess out of Thanksgiving dinner.
Taking the mess out of Thanksgiving. We like that.
So we just did the crab cake on the bottom, and I just pull a little, mixed greens or arugula on top, just to kind of give a little color to the plate.
Cool.
So-
Can I take a little taste here?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh my God, it's perfect. Good crab cake.
Well, thank you
Excellent
very much.
crab cake. We're gonna take a quick pause and we're gonna check in with Deneen and she's gonna show us a great dessert. So stick right here. And now we're here with Deneen Ceramic from Gooseberry on the Square. Deneen, welcome.
Thank you.
Chocolate caramel pecan tart.
Yes.
Come on.
It's a mouthful.
I am really excited to see how this is made, and I'm really excited to try it. So, what are you doing here? What's this first step?
So I've actually started the caramel because it takes a little bit of time to cook.
You're actually making the caramel yourself.
Making caramel from scratch. You're going to use sugar and water, just
Okay.
a pinch of salt,
Okay.
and get that cooking on the stove.
Okay. And is it caramel or caramel, or does it matter?
You know, it depends on what kind of mood you're in. Or
Okay.
where
I'm in
Sometimes
kind
I
of a
say
caramel mood today, so I hope that's okay. Sounds like you might be in a caramel mood, but
Yeah.
anyway. If somebody wants to make this at home, I don't know too many people who make their own caramel, but what advice would you give people watching on if they decided that they wanted to give this a try?
The darker the caramel gets, I don't know if
Okay.
you can see how dark that is there, the more pronounced the caramel flavor is going to be.
Oh, okay.
So the lighter it is, it's not going to taste as much of the caramel flavor in your tart.
Okay. So darker to a point is better. We don't want
Right.
super dark.
Don't want to burn it.
Right,
So
okay.
once you get to the color that you're desired, you're going
Okay.
to add cream.
Oh, all right.
Now you want to be very careful when you're doing this. There's nothing worse than a caramel burn.
Okay. Now, is it pretty customary to have the burner on really high? I mean, do you want really high heat typically?
You want to in the beginning.
Okay.
You don't want to burn it, so
Sure.
you might want to turn it down when you're adding the cream or add it off the heat.
Got it. All right. And it's bubbling up like that. That's just so cool looking.
It is. That's where all the burns happen, so just be careful.
All right.
So once all that is incorporated and it's liquid,
All right.
you're going to add it to your semi-sweet chocolate in a bowl.
Oh, all right.
And
Oh,
you're going
now
to be
it's
making
starting to
a
look like
ganache.
caramel. I can kind of see that. All right. So this is actually a ganache that you're making. I love ganache. I'm such a big fan
Add
of
all
ganache.
that rich gooiness.
All right. Awesome. And obviously, this is just one type of tart. What other types of tarts does Gooseberry offer?
We also do a lemon tart. We can do a fruit tart topped
Okay.
with fresh berries in season.
Okay.
There's
Very cool.
also pumpkin or apple, cherry, anything that you make a pie, you can make a tart on.
All right.
So
All right. Do you do pumpkin year round?
we do.
All
Any
right.
request.
I'm there. I'm there. Middle of summer, I'm going to come get me a pumpkin tart. You guys have applied recently for a beer and wine license. You've been open for about a year and a half now, and you've recently applied for a beer and wine license. Any idea when you might be able to start serving and what the selection that you might be offering would be?
We are going to be hopefully serving within a couple weeks,
Okay.
and we're offering bottled beer that's local, and
Okay.
then 3 reds and 3 whites by the glass.
Okay, great. Great.
Hopefully that'll take off and we can offer more.
Excellent. Excellent.
So once this is all melted together, you're gonna pour it in your tart
Oh,
shells.
you literally just pour it in the tart shell. Where do you get the tart shells from?
These are just pre-made.
Sure. All right.
You wanna bake them fully baked because they're not gonna go back in the oven at this point.
Right. Is it similar to a pie crust then?
It
or-
is.
Okay.
This one is an all butter tart shell.
Okay.
So there's butter, flour, sugar.
Sure. Okay. And do you mind if I try one of these?
You
real
sure
quick?
can.
All right.
And then you're gonna top it with some toasted pecans or a nut of your choice.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Deneen Ceramic and David, thank you so much for joining us from Gooseberry on the Square. Head on down to downtown Madison and check them out. This is some great food. We'll be right back with more Restaurant Show after the break. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Restaurant Show. I hope that when you're out and about looking for a place to eat or at the local grocery store, you'll consider any one of these fantastic locally owned businesses. That's all the time we have for today on the Restaurant Show. This is Justin Riley reminding you that life is too short to eat average. We'll see you next time.